right, let me just get the Facebook streaming, and then we will go live. We will be live. Here we go. And then the Telegram. Welcome, folks, for doing an update on the family polls, or the Tamsen Reggie Bull story, the Bulls family story. And they have an update on their son, Nigel, and they're going to be telling you about that. But first, we're going to give them an opportunity to do a recap so our viewers who are not familiar with the story can get so. And we'll do that here in just a moment. Let me just mute the Telegram so it's not causing a feedback loop, and then we're live. Okay, cool. Welcome, everybody. So this is News4us World. We're doing a update on the Bulls family story. If any of our viewers are familiar, we did a story on their case a few years ago, and they got their kids back, and it was one of those happy endings, sort of. But they still need everybody's help, and their son Nigel is still needs to get help, get better from the trauma caused by their kids being taken. With that being said, you guys want to go ahead and do a brief rundown of your past, of what we covered already, like with the previous shows, for like 5-10 minutes, and then segue
Go
into
ahead and I'll start on the first time it happened.
2016.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were at a homeless shelter, Salvation Army here in town, here in Tulsa, and I was pregnant with Timogen, our younger son. We were there with Nigel. He was a toddler at the time, and some people there saw some things that they took out of context, and they called the authorities, as in CPS. And we were a day away from getting housing, and then and I was 2 months away from giving birth, by the way. And we were a day away from getting housing, and CPS came to investigate. It's hard to exercise your rights at a shelter. We talked to them within reason, and I didn't tell them I was pregnant, but Salvation Army had proof of pregnancy, so I think you can put 2 and 2 together there. And then we get our apartment, and
but everything looked like it was good. They said the case was closed, but it wasn't.
Then, it was within about a couple weeks afterward that they said the case was closed. And then they came back about 2 months later when I gave birth. And so, 2 days after I gave birth, they come back. Same worker told me the case was closed. And they don't even talk to me. They know where I am. They knew I was at the maternity ward with Imogen. Reggie was at home with Nigel because that was just easier for the time being, for different reasons. And she came to the door demanding that he be looked at, Nigel, our toddler at the time. And then they forced him into going without me even. And to make a long story short, they examined Nigel. He was fine. We can prove he was normal weight and normal height.
At the time, I didn't disagree or stop because I knew the kid was fine. I knew there was no problem. I knew he'd not been abused in any way. So why not let it?
But it's still coercion.
Yeah. Why not let him go take a physical? I had no problem. I had no idea at the time how their go to a pediatrician. You give them a child, they give you a case. I didn't know how it worked back then.
When it comes down to it, you were still coerced.
If I remember correctly, we went over some of the documents that showed that they were lying. In a previous show, I remember that.
Yeah, his weight was fine. He was fine, and they just lied again.
And blamed us for him being failure to thrive.
Right.
Yeah. And the only thing on the petition for allegations of reasons for removal that was true was our anti-vaccine status. This is 2016. And so
now imagine this. On the petition, it says one of the reasons for taking because we didn't believe in vaccination. It says it right there. There's no law whatsoever says you have to vaccinate your child. Yeah. Yet they use that for reasons.
It's not even that we won't or don't.
Yeah. That we believe. Thought crime.
Yeah, I think 1984. Yeah. So
I think that's a violation of your guys' your rights. You can't force some. You're not supposed to be able to force stuff like that on people.
You have the force of belief, one thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's like saying I don't believe in God or something. I don't know. Something like that. So
and while they had him, while they had our children, we believe they were vaccinated.
Oh, we know they had to. The first day.
And of course, our eldest had a reaction, and that's why he has autism now.
Yeah, and then 2020.
Now, then 2020, they came back again.
And we were trying to heal him at the time.
Now,
and they interfered with the process by taking him again, and this time they held him longer.
Yeah, as bad as the first time was, the second time was so blatant. I mean, and we had all kinds of proof because they messed up. When they took him the second time, their go-to pediatrician, for whatever reason, was not in. So they had to take him to the ER. They get completely clean bill of health. Both of them are well within their weight for their age group. Then, after they took them, we can go back over all the things that happened during the day. But once they took them, then we meet with CPS, and they say, our youngest child is barely on the chart. There's no barely on the chart. You're there or you're not. Our oldest child is off the chart. Now, they didn't realize we were going to get the ER report. And that's just blatant lies. Now, I've always known CPS could lie, but it's only in the second time around I found out how they can perjure themselves and get away with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They perjured themselves and said that on the sworn affidavit. So, see, the only way they can take the children is get a sworn affidavit because they don't need a warrant. All they need is a writ and a court order because a warrant takes too much time. It's too legal. We want to get past that. We want the children.
So a written court order then is how they get it.
But they had a sworn affidavit, and we're pretty sure that the CPS worker that swore on this affidavit that they looked malnourished and they had dark circles around their eyes. Now, the ER proves that they were not malnourished, and there was no dark circles. There's no mention whatsoever of dark circles around the eyes. As you know, we also did a close-up of the video.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
There's no dark circles around those eyes.
Yeah. And
but she swore to this, and we're also pretty sure that worker was never there.
No, she wasn't. For those events, she was not.
Yeah.
Because the video footage shows she was not there. And even the reports show she wasn't there.
She swore to something somebody told her. She swore as an eyewitness to something she was told.
There were 7 people, at least 7 people in front of our door, and not one of them signed off on it.
Right.
Okay.
But someone that's not there signs off on the word of whoever.
Then later on, one of the ones that's there, she swears to the same thing in court.
About dark circles.
Dark circles and looked like that's malnourished. And she's the very one who signed off on the ER report.
Which says they didn't.
Which says they're fine.
Which says that, no dark circles. Boys are.
So she definitely knew. So she definitely knew she was lying.
The lawyer knows. I mean, the assistant DA knows she's perjuring herself. The judge knows she's perjuring herself. Everybody knows. The bailiff knows she's perjuring herself. Nobody cares. She's a CPS worker. And she just gets away with it, like so many other things. Like I always bring up, the judge and the assistant DA will sign off on anything they're handed by CPS about a shred of evidence. The workers can purge themselves on sworn affidavits and in court. And then and time after time, there's complete violations, no due process. You don't get a jury trial your first trial.
Yeah, they should have a jury every time at least. But
you don't get a jury trial. So they take your kids without a warrant and keep them without a jury trial. But only one state in the union gets a jury trial first time around. And, think about that. What can make all states agree on something? I mean, you're just going to do a jury trial in family court now. All the states agree to it except for one because the money involved. The states run, I found out later, I didn't realize at the time, I've recently found this out. The states run on the funding they get for taking children. It balances their budget. They don't have to raise taxes. If they did away with that federal money, because they don't, you give enough children, because if you get the same amount each year or more, it just balances the budget.
The Title IV funding, it creates an incentivization for them to take kids wrongfully.
Yeah, they have to help pay for highways,
highways, buildings.
See,
they don't have to spend it for the children or anything like that. The state can spend it on anything they want.
Dependent on it. It's like a drug addiction.
Right. It's just like back in the 60s when they started, federal government started funding public schools in different states. Then the public schools became dependent on their funding. So now, if the federal government tells you teach this or do that, you got to do it.
Yeah, no, it's become an issue now in modern times. I know with all the school corruption and stuff, and the school and then the administrative staff corruption on a lot of the school boards.
It would show that it would build up to that anyway, so that's not surprising.
Right.
It's although child trafficking has been around since, I guess, the dawn of time. This is something that's bigger than I would say in life. I mean, because it's so it has such a framing that seems legitimate almost.
And benign even at times.
Yeah.
When it's really not.
See, people, until they get into the system, don't realize what's going on because you get a lawyer assigned to you. And they only see you 5 minutes before it's time to go into the courtroom. They have to shuffle through their paperwork and remember who you are. Then you go into the courtroom, they do whatever they do, and then they have little or no contact with you in between.
Yeah, in 2016, they didn't even give us a lawyer until they came up with the petition.
Yeah. I mean, me and Tamsen sent so many emails to our lawyers, and both of us had a multitude of lawyers during the 3 years we were involved the second time around. And they would hardly ever even answer your emails because this is the easiest work a lawyer could ever do. You show up 5 minutes before court, you shuffle through your paperwork, and then you talk. I mean, one time we was in there, she didn't even have a lawyer. I have a lawyer, and after they've done everything, I look over at my lawyer like, "Are you going to speak now?" And they go, "Oh yeah." See, it's just they're just walking through the process.
Yeah, they're public pretenders.
Second time, we appealed our case because there were so many violations, and they purposely, or even our lawyers in on it, messed up our appeal, so we didn't get to appeal.
Oh yeah, and the appeal they assigned our lawyers late.
Yeah, they signed them late.
Because our private attorney had abandoned us.
Yeah,
we ran out of money after the rig trial. We ran out of money, and she abandoned us. She didn't perfect the appeal.
And it even gets worse. The reasons the Oklahoma Supreme Court gave for not letting us do the appeal, one of the reasons they gave us, well, this is not a termination case. It's just like, we don't care how many rights were violated. It's not a termination case, so you don't get to appeal.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
That's ridiculous.
People don't realize what they're up against until they get into a situation like this. And I couldn't understand how they could violate this and violate that and do this and get away with that. And I mean, your family court is nothing like a regular court. That's why I wish they would get a criminal charge on me so I can fight it.
Right. At least you'd have a better shot there than fighting it that way. You know, considering, you know, they don't even give jury trials with these civil courts at all.
Yeah. And then don't forget my criminal charges from the second time that they did this.
They have criminal charges holding over her.
Yeah. As you know, I mean,
I remember that.
Yeah, because I wouldn't bow down. And so I was beaten up by 2 deputies. After the police department lost their qualified immunity by violating my rights at the door. And then they passed off to the sheriff's office. And then, okay, baby.
I remember we premiered the body cam video of that, didn't we?
Yeah, see, that's a lot of people need to know about the police were outside our door the second time around all day long. And then when the writ and court order finally came down, they said, we won't move on it until we get a writ and court order. When it came down, they told CPS they refused to act on it. The police department.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is all legal. Why didn't they rush in there and take the children? The police department, because of what they had done earlier, knew they lost their qualified immunity.
Yeah, with all the things. And you even helped with the footage where it was.
Where we did the lip reading on the one guy. To do an estimate to guess what he was saying. Yeah. When we put it together, we synced up the video and the audio.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and even
go ahead.
And even the discovery reports had a blatant lie on there. You've watched all the footage. There's nothing on there where it says that they told me. This is what it says in discovery reports. They told me that I was making it worse for myself by not opening the door. That never happened, and it's on the footage. But they lied right there. It has a very blatant lie right there in the discovery reports. And everything they were saying lost their qualified and made them lose their qualified immunity.
Basically, he said if you don't talk to these people, he's going to arrest you.
Child endangerment, in fact, which is a felony. And I didn't get arrested, of course. I still didn't let them in, nothing. But they passed off to the sheriff's department.
Well, see,
7 hours later, it comes in.
Yeah, I want to point that out. They will not act on it. The police department will not act on the written court order that supposedly gives them the legal authority to do so because they don't want to because they lost their qualified immunity. But then they tell CPS, here's how you get around that. In other words, here's how you could circumvent the law.
This is on discovery reports.
Call the sheriff's department and have them do it for you. So right then they committed conspiracy against rights and color of law.
Deprivation.
Yeah, because they told, here's how you get around that. The sheriff's department, they'll just go with the paperwork. They haven't been here all day. They haven't lost the qualified immunity.
Yeah, the sheriff's department had the writ of assistance in their hands, and they didn't show it at the door. Even my criminal attorney said that's where they went wrong. I was still being charged on bond and everything, but they didn't show the paperwork, and then they came in and beat me up and took me to jail for 3 nights and held me on bond for 2.5 years until they brought the charges at pretrial conference. I was set for jury trial. They don't want this in front of a jury. Yeah, that's why I was coming back around to you, because you're talking about
Jury trials, yeah.
Jury trial.
Yeah,
They don't want this in front of a jury.
Even one of my family court lawyers, one of the more decent ones I had, she said this is clearly a Fourth Amendment violation.
Oh, that's a private attorney.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Oh, no. This
the one assigned to me.
Yeah,
No, the last one assigned to me.
Oh, her.
The lady.
Yeah.
Who I had a pretty hard time with her because, I basically told her off, and she told me off. I told her off again. But she turned out to be one of the better ones after all.
Yeah, you saw her in a meeting actually.
Yeah. And she said, "This is clearly if we take it to find it to jury trial, this is clearly a Fourth Amendment violation."
Yeah.
Because they had no, how they did it, how they went about it, they had no right to do it.
Right.
Yeah, and then when you go back to January 10th, and that losing qualified immunity from the police, and then even after they left, the CPS workers, I mean, they were on their own, but they were holding their ground. Yeah, and even Reggie they left something out of the discovery reports that I believe is very, you could say, tragic, I guess. Yeah, I mean, where you quote Shakespeare.
I quoted Shakespeare too.
The Scorn and Defiance. Yeah. What was it?
Scorn and Defiance, small regard, slight regard, contempt.
Yeah.
There we go.
But they mentioned the fact in Discovery. They leave that out, but they mentioned the fact that they even have a picture of this because they were taking a picture of it. I guess they showed it to the judge, but him with his middle finger up, which we'd like a picture of that.
Yeah. Of all the things they did, I like they had a picture of that. I'd have framed it. There's at the door saying they want to talk, so I flipped them off.
Yeah.
And they're trying to use that against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they leave out the Shakespeare quote. They probably don't understand it. Sorry, not sorry.
No, they probably didn't understand it.
See, that's why when after we got him back, we were visiting. I told you about that other CPS came again because of one of our therapists,
right,
of our eldest child. The helper trying to get him because she was mad at us because we got on to her boss or her because she's trying to make us go into the office and we want home therapy. So she gets mad, and they see that somebody that's sick because they're mad at you. They'll use your children against you when there's nothing wrong, and she makes all this stuff up. CPS comes investigate, and even they said, "Well, there's nothing here. There's no there."
And I audio recorded,
right.
So they didn't like that. I'm sure they didn't like that. And they know we're basically like what you'd call troublemakers.
Yeah, and they interviewed our youngest child, and they fine with him.
Yeah, and he even said, "There's I see no need to rush these kids to a medical. I mean, to the ER or anything." Yeah.
Right.
But see, if I had met him at the door again and said, "No, I don't want to speak to you," we'd gone through the same process. The police have been at the door.
Oh yeah, they probably would have.
They'd take him, and then they'd send him to their go-to pediatrician, and she'll give you a reason to keep him.
Yeah, and then I'm waking up every morning with knots in my stomach. I mean, we did. I know we did nothing wrong, but that didn't matter the first time they did this. Didn't matter the second time they did this.
Right.
Is it going to matter now?
I'll tell you how bad it was. The second time they did, the kids are gone. We're at home. We get a home invasion. And my wife, I didn't spot the guy. She did. She starts screaming. I think, well, she's finally cracked. All the mental pressure she's under, right? But it's a home invasion. And I go out there and confront the guy, and I'm so happy that's a home invasion and not the police again. Because I can deal with a home invasion. I can do a home invader however I want to do.
Right.
I have to put up with these police and sheriff.
Yeah, especially when they're abusing their power. That's hard. At least a home invasion, you have
at least a home invasion. I can deal with that. But it's funny about it. I'm not sure, but I think the guy's just breaking in to find an empty apartment he can sleep the night.
It's the same.
What happened?
He saw me, big, angry, naked me. And he said, "I just want to get out of here."
That's funny.
Yeah.
What did Mom do again?
She screamed. I didn't realize what's going on. I thought she was having a breakdown. All the pressure she's under. I thought, well, this is it. She's finally cracked. And no, it's just a home invasion. It wasn't the police, thank God.
Right.
That's bad when you rather have the criminal come in your door.
Yeah, I would rather have a home invasion because I can deal with a home invasion.
Right. There's some kind of a code there with criminals still in there.
That's the doctrine, I believe.
If I have to hurt the home invader, I can do that.
Right.
I can't hurt the policeman. Because even if you win, you lose. Even if you're completely within your rights, you're still going to lose.
How scared were you again?
Very. I screamed and everything.
People say that, well, I didn't do anything when the sheriff's department came in there and they was roughing up my wife. There's no winning in this situation. There's no winning.
Right. Especially if
No, but what do you do?
I thought they wanted to kill me.
But that's a place they should never put a man in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never should put a man in that position with his wife. Like that's, you know, and then to hold that power over him, that's not even right.
Yeah, he was a little bit angry with me because I screamed for him.
Yeah.
And that was, for me, that was just, I wasn't trying to get him in trouble. I swear. It was just natural.
Well, that's right, because he's your husband and that's what you do. And they're trying to have us go against everything that we know to be real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like what we are, who we're about, what are, you know, what we respect, you know, just everything we're supposed to, our instincts, they want us to go completely against our instincts, right? Because it was instinct, because he's your husband. So that is exactly who you're going to call to protect you. But then you have this tyrant, you know, manhandling your wife. You know what I mean? And it's like,
two of them roughing her up, and one has watching me like an eagle eye. And if I head towards that door, the gun's going to be out.
Exactly, and you're going to get shot in the back for running away.
Or if I go,
and that's not going to be murder.
By the time I got him taken care of, the other two will have their gun out.
Right. Either way, you're going to get shot, and it's not going to be murder, right? And they're going to walk away for, you know, clear of your murder because we're going to
say I got extremely lucky. I was able to overpower 3 sheriffs, right? 3 deputy sheriffs. Well, how about the next 30? They'll be there in 30 minutes.
Exactly.
The next 300 after that. There's no win. You can't win.
You know, the police have gotten so out of hand and out of control with shooting and killing people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
especially in Tulsa. Well, here in Tulsa, they shoot first, ask questions later.
Exactly. I mean, you could be running from them and you get shot in the back of the head and they can justify that somehow. But if I would shoot somebody running away from me in the back of the head, it would be murder.
For you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's no different for them. They'll have to answer to that one day.
No.
Creator, even though they gave them immunity or a hall pass here on this plane, it'll catch up with them one day.
Yeah.
First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment,
They broke a lot of those.
Yeah, that's awesome. He knows his amendments. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment.
Oh wow, you guys have been teaching them good.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
We've been talking with Stuart a little bit. You know, our friend Stuart. Yeah, even talked to Timothy for a little bit. So that was.
Oh, nice. Stu Hanty. Yeah, he's good people.
The Second Amendment.
See, you know, I like to tell people what CPS is all about and the things you have to deal with and realize what you're up against. But right now, our major focus, like I said, is our eldest child. Because we have no doubt, but they vaccinated him against our will.
Yeah,
now he has severe autism.
Yeah, and they interfered with, like I said, they interfered with the process when they came back and held them longer as wards of state this time. Because the first one was 9 months as wards of state. This time 3 years. And I might mention one of the things that got on to us because we didn't have him diagnosed. I might mention that the state had him for over a year before they diagnosed him, and they didn't diagnose him until after the trial.
Did they threaten?
Well, they waited.
Yeah.
Did they threaten us by saying they were going to...
Well, doesn't that keep you in the system longer that way, too? More money that way. It keeps you in the system longer, making more money that way. Waiting until after.
I think they wanted more this time. First time was 9 months, like I said, but the thing is, they probably wanted to teach us a lesson or something. Quote unquote, teach us a lesson. And
they're on power trips.
Yeah, I mean, they may not have liked that it was only 9 months at that time, and they didn't like how some of the ways we were talking at the time. And we'd even gone to the only thing we did really at that time was go to the local newspaper, which is in the DA's pocket, but they don't like that we even did that.
Right after we went to the newspaper, the police showed up at our door.
Yeah, and that was the day of transitioning into kinship with people that don't like us,
Right.
or would later not like us, whatever. But yeah, they were at our door. I didn't let them in without a warrant. They went away. But yeah, they were at our door wanting to question us about Nigel, who we had been accused of starving because
Right.
there was only a newborn. Yeah. So because the female cop said it's about your son. Well, the male cop says we want to talk to you, and the female cop says it's about your son Nigel.
Hold on, we're here
So,
at this house.
No, that's the different.
Another one.
Yeah, so I didn't let them in, and so that nothing ever happened like that again.
Was that the incident behind the glass door, right? The glass sliding door, or was that a different one?
That was the first time.
Okay.
See, we actually had even gone to the paper for what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then very shortly after that, the police show up.
Yeah, and so they probably don't like. And plus, it was the day of transitioning.
Right.
Because if they can arrest us for quote unquote starving Nigel, like Password said, then I mean, because police.
Although his weight was fine.
Yeah,
I know. First time and second time.
I know. And police like to go on fishing expeditions, and
They were false allegations.
Yeah, and they have that false information from Password about us starving Nigel or whatever. And if they can question us and get us in jail and keep the boys in traditional foster care, that's more money actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what they were going for, but they didn't get it, and they only had them 9 months, like I said. And then they don't like that we were raising any kind of trouble even back then. So they come back with a vengeance, I would say, and they want more money. They want them longer this time, more money, and the in-laws. They don't have kids of their own. They don't like our parenting style. The in-laws want them too, so they take them right to the in-laws that night. And so you can put it all together. You know what this was.
So let's segue into you get your kids back, right? And then so what are some of the issues that you see Nigel face? Since he's been home this last couple of years.
That's what I
get into that. That's what I want to know.
What are the
I think our viewers would
the
too.
kids? That's what I was sitting here
wondering. We first get him back. He's about 2 years old.
And 2016,
Yeah, and this is he had obviously been vaccinated. We didn't realize at the time, and he gradually drifted into autism. Now, I would like to say, I think I mentioned this before. I was in denial because I see it, and I think this is just the trauma he's been through, right? That's why he's not talking, because of trauma. Because when we first got him back, he would not even leave my side for 2 weeks. I couldn't go to the restroom without him screaming. And like he said, when we first got him back, he's very intelligent. He's 2 years old. He can count to 10. He's getting his ABCs down. I mean, he was even ahead of our youngest at that time. But then gradually goes into autism. He was actually ahead of me.
I know. I'm pretending I'm jealous. Pretending, actually.
He's got a sense of humor, I see.
The shots didn't affect your younger son in the same manner?
What?
Were they both vaccinated? And
I believe they both were. It was just the eldest had the reaction.
It affected him differently.
Yeah. Yes. Because if you say this is the reason we took your children, how can you have them for what, 6 or 8 months? That first time around and not vaccinate them. Because if we were negligent and not having them vaccinated, what is the state for having them for 8 months and not vaccinating them?
I didn't talk to a friend of mine in California who's an attorney, and even he confirmed that from a legal standpoint, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had to vaccinate him. We had before and after footage of him. He had never been vaccinated. I mean, when you have it all together,
now,
there's no doubt.
The second time they took, when we was at trial, this was brought up. And Passmore, the good pediatrician, says they were not vaccinated. And even if they were, he could not possibly have got his autism from vaccination.
Yeah, she went even on his diagnostic.
Now think about a pediatrician that can say that beyond a shadow of a doubt, that vaccines could not possibly be the reason for his autism.
And even on the diagnostic form for his autism, she said that it's our fault.
Yeah, but these are people who did not diagnose him for a year.
Yeah.
Well, we know from what RFK Jr. has said that that vaccines causing autism is a very real thing.
And the NIH said it too.
I've even heard one doctor say, I have never seen a child with autism that was not vaccinated. I mean, you can make the reference to it or not, but he's never seen a child that had autism who was not vaccinated.
And don't forget, personally, we even had the first doctor that read the ER reports. He said this is a vaccine injury when he looked at Nigel's ER report from that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's somebody.
When we first got the ER report, and we had some friends of ours look over. It was so good and so in our favor, we could hardly believe it. So we took it to a doctor some friends had referred us to, and he looked over the ER report. And he says, yes, that's exactly what it says. These children are healthy, well-nourished, good shape. There was no reason, both of them well within their weight for their age group. And in his opinion, he's talking to me the real reasons you can get autism, but in his opinion, your eldest child is vaccine injured.
It's brain damage. It's brain damage, of course.
Right. So even the doctor that went over the ER report agreed this is what he has.
But this is a doctor. He even said himself that the courts don't like him. He's a doctor with pictures of elderberry on his wall.
Yeah.
That tells you anything.
But see, when we were in trial, all the stuff we presented was just basically poo-poo by them. It's just like we give all this proof, we have all this gold, and they just disregard it.
Yeah, I know. It's sick, but that's what they it's because it goes against their narrative.
And see, the judging told me to make my answers more succinct, and I was purposely drawing them out because I knew there's a good chance we'll get an appeal here because of what they're doing. And I want to put as much information here because you cannot appeal anything but what was brought forward in the first trial. See, I know this. So I'm stretching out all my answers, putting as much in there as I can because I swore to tell the whole truth.
Right.
They don't want to hear that.
No, of course not.
Because I was telling I swore to it in court. I said that the Supreme Court said there's no such thing as a safe vaccine. And something else I brought up.
I
brought up a lot of information about vaccines.
The CDC.
Yeah, the CDC can no longer legally say on their website that vaccines do not cause autism. They've even taken that off their website.
Yeah.
But here you get their pediatrician, their go-to pediatrician, the St. Teresa comes in there and says it could not possibly be from a vaccination.
It probably would have been better if we just instead we needed to leave the word autism out because that's a trigger word. Actually, what it is brain damage because autism a lot of people associate with quirkiness, something like that. This isn't that at all. Nobody understands what we go through. That's what I'm saying. No one understands unless they live with us.
Right.
I mean, you might have an idea, Stephen. You've seen stuff.
Yeah, well, I have my sister, some of her friends have autistic kids, so I'm familiar with some of the symptoms.
Plus, he has GERD, and we're treating that. We've even gone to specialists. We've gone to as pediatricians.
What is GERD for the viewers that don't know?
You have a tendency to throw up.
Okay.
You have trouble holding down your food from time to time, and like he would go with the medication for a while, and then it wouldn't work. And we pull our hair. We're trying everything. So it's dealing with his autism and GERD because there's a lot of things like you can eat and it will help you with your autism. But if you have GERD, sometimes you don't hold it down, so you don't get the benefit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and this is because of what they've done.
What?
I would give him a cleanse. I would detox him. I would get all the metals and parasites out of his body.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. Hold on. Because that's... Well, hold on.
Give us a moment, folks.
Yeah.
But I would go that route myself personally.
Yeah. She's talking about... Angela's talking about the cleanses and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
What?
She's talking about cleanses.
And stuff. we were. That's some things we were trying the first time around.
Yeah, when they interfered with the process by taking them again and keeping them longer this time, and he's he's 10 now, by the way, and so them interfering. Yeah, we were doing some of that stuff, and then.
But he's using cleanses, using a lot of probiotics, a lot of things.
Yeah, I would
things
do that.
Referred to us by naturopaths and homeopaths.
Yeah.
So we were going right down that, but when they took him a second time, we weren't treating him properly.
Yeah, naturopaths and homeopaths said we were.
Yes.
Yeah. And
that's because it doesn't make them money to treat it that way. That's what that's
what happened with
that's
the
why I would do it
MMA.
now. I would start cleansing them now. I would get the metals out of his system. I would get, all the I would detox them. I would give him parasite cleanse. It couldn't
brain damage is accumulated over time.
Yeah, it's too late for that. And like I said, even cleanse. So now a lot of stuff like using fruit cleanses and stuff like that, he might, because he might react to it. Like you put the wrong, if it's too acidic, then he'll, have a problem with his GERD. So you're having that problem plus his autism, and it's something else to deal with. You constantly have to adjust his diet. You got to adjust this. You got to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
What
eat.
are what are some of the symptoms that he's displaying in the last couple of years that you've noticed that that are a result of this injury?
Well, he can sometimes he don't sleep, and like he said, he can be real good and then just throw a fit out of nowhere. We got in trouble with the police when he's at a coffee shop
on our anniversary.
Eating, and Nigel had basically a breakdown. That happens from time to time. It's not common, but it happens at this job. And somebody saw that and calls the police on us.
So
wow!
Yeah, so 3 Tulsa police officers arrived.
Right.
At Starbucks. It was Starbucks.
Luckily, they had half a brain and they saw what was going on. It's just an autistic child that had a breakdown. But, one wrong word.
You might not have been that lucky. You might have got somebody that didn't know better.
Yeah.
And that would have been a mess.
Same thing again. Yeah. Because it's just like the first time we was reported, some little dough-headed fool that don't know what's going on, report something on you, and then bam.
2016?
2016?
Yeah, I think that was a whole bunch of people. Yeah, 2020 was a neighbor.
Yeah, it was a neighbor.
At the complex at the time.
A dough-headed neighbor that
saying that the boys were skinny.
Yeah.
And once we turned down food, so she called.
Yeah, she brought us something, and I consider it like a housewarming gift. So I accepted it, as a neighbor, give some. And then she tried to bring us some second time. We don't need it. We got plenty of food.
Yeah, we had plenty of food both times.
Yeah,
and the second time there wasn't really anything there that time really worthwhile anyway.
If there's something I usually eat, trying to be friendly, don't just say no.
Somehow.
And then she takes it, well, you're starving the child.
Yeah, because the boys look skinny, for one thing. And then somehow it got reported, I don't know whether it was her lie or CPS's lie, but in that video with the police, the CPS worker that was at first recording, even she said while she was on the phone with the DA or something like that, while she's being recorded on police footage, she was saying that because somehow it got reported that when I turned that food down, and they didn't mention the time that I didn't turn it down, but the time I turned it down, but I turned it down and I got mad, which I didn't get mad. I didn't get mad any of these times.
Now here's something about
somebody lied somewhere.
That wonderful DA, the second time around.
The ADA?
The ADA. Mm-hmm. He purposely tried to keep the ER report out of discovery.
He did.
Yeah.
He withheld
this.
Brady violation, I believe.
Yeah, so he withheld discovery.
Yeah.
And then,
definitely Brady violation.
When that discovery was presented to him by our lawyer, the case should have been dropped right there. He continued to viciously prosecute, even after showing him that the children were fine. The ER report shows the children are fine. But no, we're still going to trial.
Yeah, fruit of the poisonous tree.
And there's no way that ER report can be right and the CPS workers not be perjuring themselves. It's one or the other.
Yeah, right. No, absolutely.
They would go back and forth about the boys' weights.
Yeah.
They disregarded the evidence. It's right there in fine print on the final judgment. They would go back and forth. They couldn't keep their lies straight. They went back and forth on boys' weight. They changed their sworn testimony.
Oh, that final judgment, it was quite obvious to me, that was not written by the judge.
Yeah.
That had to have been written by the ADA. And there's still something there I'd like to know. There was something in there that was told to a discussion between the pediatrician and who?
The judge.
Yeah. So when, where, and how did they have a discussion? Because they did not have that discussion in court. Yet this is on the final judgment. Everybody knows when you go to court, the judge or jury is considered nothing except what's presented in the courtroom, not over at the coffee shop, not down the street, but that's in the final judgment. Something that she said and it's nowhere in the transcripts. If we got to go to appeal, we'd shown, okay, when, where, and how was this said? Because it's not said in the courtroom. It's nowhere in the transcript. And they also said we said things that we didn't say. And the transcripts would prove it's not in there. But all this was on the final judgment.
Yeah, they straight up, they lied.
And it's just like, oh.
Well, that one that you were talking about earlier, that was good. She was bad in that way because she had that in her hand.
Yeah.
And she was reading from that and making excuses.
Right.
The transcript. Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's unethical.
Because if those transcripts had ever got before appellate court, they'd been candy bar the door. Over.
Yeah. So there's
and that's why the judge made sure we couldn't appeal.
Yeah. So there's pretty much go with lies, and they talk about boys' weight. Sometimes they wouldn't keep.
They're covering their own ass.
Surgery, malicious prosecution, you name it.
Yeah, and stuff that wasn't, like I said, for the Poison Street. A lot of that focusing on me because I have a history. They try to say I'm crazy and whatnot. They use abusive psychiatry. That they did that the first time too, but it was worse the second time. I mean, they won't attack him because he's a man, he's older, he won't put up with it. He's a veteran, all this stuff. But I'm an easy target. So they come after me all the time. I at least know how to navigate because I have experience.
Yes, Mom, but you are.
He's cute. Adorable.
Yeah. He knows I'm not crazy. Yeah, but they try to. I saw that. Okay. Yeah. So they. So abusive psychiatry is huge in this country, as you know. So they love that. And and then something else. What was it they tried to use against us?
I can't remember. They tried to use everything.
Okay.
But see, that's why I wanted so much, because I wanted a jury to hear, really to hear what's going on here. Because when we first started thinking about this, we can show the jury point after point after point where our rights have been violated. But I can also learn how a jury thinks, okay, the family's rights were violated, but how were the children when they take it? Okay, here's the ER report. The children are fine. Now what?
Yeah, on the sheriff's video, they went over to the corner before I could get them to go toward the closet where I was going so I could delay everything. And they were in the corner bouncing up and down. How can they starve if they bounce up and down?
Right. I remember that was on the video too. We saw that.
In their testimony, they said you had to help Nigel off the floor.
Yeah, that's police video.
These kids are jumping up and around, running around. And then in their testimonies, they said she had to help him off the floor because he's so weak.
Yeah, it's contradictions.
Yeah.
So
like I said, they never realized that we would be able to get the yard. They tried to keep us from getting it.
Yeah. And
how is Nigel doing now in like recent weeks? How is he functioning? Is he
Nigel?
Yeah.
Nigel. Which one?
Nigel.
Nigel is a little better than he was. He still has the autistic problems, but he understands commands.
Okay.
And what's kind of funny, like a lot of times, like his therapist asks him to do something, and he'll just like, what? But if I ask him to do it, he'll go do it.
Okay.
But you know, it's just like everything is like a fog to him.
Okay.
I mean, he's more than happy to do something if he understands what it is you want him to do. But he's completely lost the ability to talk. I mean, it's been about a year since he even said a word.
Okay.
So he's able to. He just won't do it.
Not quite. No, I mean, he that Starbucks. Now Reggie doesn't remember this, but that Starbucks that we were at one time, we were there sometime last year, and I was making a joke about something, about a song from the past, and I was making it like the song was about Reggie, and yeah, it was just a joke, but yeah, I said, "Is Daddy?" I was referencing the song, and then Nigel, and it was almost like a regular conversation. He had a very clear, and he was in good spirits, and this is in a timely fashion too. Like if you and I were talking, well, yeah, he says yes. I mean, very clearly, right there at Starbucks at a table, in front of, but you don't remember that. Yeah, that happened like last year. So I mean, he can form words, as we know, but that's not. It's not a conversation.
Last one, right. His speech therapist had told us to get what's known as an elbow. It's a plastic plumbing piece, and use it like a phone. And he'll get used to hearing his voice, and maybe we'll speak. And I was using that with him. And I said, "Say hello, Nigel," and he clears the bell. He said hello, but it's very hard to ever get him to repeat anything like that.
Right.
But he's able to speak. He just don't speak.
Okay, so he's like withdrawn into himself. Then basically, a lot of the time, is that how you would describe it? Like withdrawn into himself, like
he was drawn, but he can be in a very good mood. He can be off by himself, and he can like interact with a wall.
Okay,
you don't know what's going on there, but he's interacting with the wall.
Right. So we have a donation link in the description for you for folks if they want to make a donation to help Nigel get better and help.
Yeah,
All the
we're
funds will go towards his
Yeah.
medical needs and his recovery.
To get the medical, what he needs, we're thinking we'll have to go to Mexico to get it done.
Okay.
I mean, we discussed it with his pediatrician, and she agreed with it.
Okay, go ahead.
But we went. She said a psychiatrist, right, would have to do it, and we went to them, and they never even heard of the therapy.
But they offered.
Oh yeah, they offered psychogenics. There's more than happy.
Psychotropics,
yeah.
More than happy.
Oh wow.
Get him on that, yeah.
Whoever,
Of course, we said no.
Whoever is still watching, please keep watching.
Yes, listen to that boy. He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, okay, baby.
Okay.
He's cute, but did he make a little sword?
Now, you see who runs the family now. So.
Out of paper.
Oh.
I saw that. That was cute.
Oh.
Now, what's funny, our youngest, but I was saying
That's Timogen, folks, for viewers who are
He's 8 years
who
old.
that is. That's Timogen.
He's 8 years old. He spells better than I do.
Yeah.
And I have a website where
That's their other son.
website, and he helped me design it. My 8-year-old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, help me reword it.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, he thinks it is.
You sure seem like a kiddo.
A little bit used to it, and then he's kind of.
All I can say is he's doing things that I couldn't imagine doing. So.
That's a really bright kid.
I'd like him to be in math, but otherwise he's doing fine.
Yeah, but
well, I was a little behind in math when I was that age too. So.
Yeah, but he amazed us with he could work on an abacus. We had an abacus for him.
Yeah, he was doing
Oh,
well.
and it wasn't Chisenbach.
Yeah,
he was catching on to that
I was
fast.
pretty good at that. I was pretty good at that. But
Oh, wow.
sometimes I do hacking games. I'm also a hacker.
Oh.
He loves the computer. He does stuff on the computer. See, that's why it's hard. You want to monitor your child. It's hard to monitor him.
I can
Keep
hack
it
on
legal.
mobile.
But
Yeah, keep it legal.
Like Steven.
I can
Oh, I'm
There
sorry. I'm
Oh no, you're fine. I talk about the fact that I'm in cybersecurity very often, so it's not a big secret. Yeah.
But like I said, our eldest child was actually ahead of him. Right as he is, he's ahead of him until he went into autism. And like I said, we ran our ideas by his pediatrician, and she is at that time, and she agreed with it. But these psychiatrists never even heard this therapy, and the only way to get it done is through like somebody actually doing trials, like in California. But if we go down to Mexico, once we get enough money together to do that, we could just do it right away.
Yeah, the doctors here don't want to because it's not FDA approved.
Yeah.
What is the name of the therapy? What is it called?
German.
It's all yeah, they've used it for sleeping sickness for hundreds
Yes,
of years.
it's a drug been used for 100 years successfully. It's just what they call off-label usage. Is that it?
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
What was it again?
They're trying to get it to be. They're trying to get it to be an approved therapy.
Okay.
So far,
Oh, there's Nigel right there hugging his dad.
Yeah,
Hello, I run this family.
this is our eldest right here.
Hi, Nigel.
Hi. Hi, Steven. Hi, Angela. Hi, Angela. Hi, Steven. Hi, Angela. Oh.
He's
He's
cute.
trying to choke me out right
He's
now.
shy.
He wouldn't do that. Oh. Oh, sweet.
So I want to ask everybody that's viewing that views this, please consider making a donation. It'll go to help Nigel in his recovery, and any medical expenses will be used. It'll be used for that.
Yeah,
So,
the sermon right now would be the main thing.
That'd be the main thing. And if we got enough, the serpent is a very good start. See where it goes.
Okay.
And it could. Some children have very good results from it. And if that doesn't work, if we get enough money later on, we'll try like stem cell therapy.
Okay.
But these are things that have worked and have helped children with autism.
Where's the
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at the stage because of the brain, like I said, the accumulation of brain
Right.
damage.
Yeah, the quicker we get on it, the better,
Yeah.
because the longer he keeps this, the harder it's going to be to reverse.
Yeah, and what you were talking about earlier would have helped a long time ago, but
Yeah.
they interfered with all that. So
Oh, yeah.
now, and then even when we got the kids back the second time, the money, and all everything. Well, you can explain. I mean, money.
We've had to go in
everything.
debt for lawyers. We've
Yeah,
gone in debt, going back and forth.
So that affects
everything's an expense, an extra expense.
Right.
So even when you're well afford.
So even when you're trying to do what you can for Nigel, like what
Right.
you've done, that
they drain people of their resources.
Yeah, so it makes it hard to treat Nigel the way that you were talking about earlier. And then then the time goes by
for like parasites and metals and things like that.
Yeah, and even the diet, especially the way he eats. Yeah, so when you put it all together, with the time and the money, it all went. Yeah, it all got behind. So now we're at this point. So it's more crucial now. It's like a race against time. So now this is the only way we see.
And the whole thing is also putting me into debt.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So
nobody will cover anything like that.
No.
Oh, not the state. Definitely not. No. There's no profit in healthy children.
There's nowhere to get any help for anything holistic.
Not like that.
Not like this, no.
Yeah, and even a naturopath and homeopath that can help.
Yeah, they don't cover those doctors.
Even those cost money.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we were able to take them to a homeopath when they were in care sometime because I connected with one on social media, but he only saw them once. He probably wanted money. That's probably why he didn't want to see them after that. And so they can do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But we actually took them to a homeopath even when they were in custody. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I remember going there. Yeah.
Hacking is good if it's illegal and undetectable.
Where does he hear these phrases, huh? TV?
See, that's the problem. I've tried, I've tried to monitor him on the computer, but he knows more than I do. So it's hard to monitor.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, do you guys have a lawsuit against whoever did this to him?
Yeah, let's go into that.
We're working on it.
In the family.
Okay, sweetie. Okay, we're working on it.
We had one that kind of went nowhere.
The Court of Federal Claims,
yes.
In DC. Yeah, we had that. And then now I'm meeting with some women that are working on like a class action. Oh, yeah, and then even before Court of Federal Claim, we had a mass federal tort, but that didn't go anywhere. We need our own, really. I guess we would need our own, but we tried to get some. I know you all have tried to help us with that, but it was very complicated for me, especially at that time. And we can put the claims together and the constitutional rights violations, all that. We just need to make sure it's solidified before turning it in. I mean, we can get that local.
I know, but like I said, these lawyers here are a joke.
Yeah,
they're really a joke.
Yeah, I mean, even just to help. I mean,
you guys have a lawsuit against the was it the foster parents that did it, took them and got the shots? Was that who did it, or was it actually CPS?
They were part of that, like when they went into kinship. The first day in 2016, I hadn't even met them. Reggie had met the sister-in-law a long time ago, but they weren't involved. But but we believe in 2016, the first day that when they grabbed Nigel, that they took him somewhere and force vaxxed him, and
then vaxxed him again at the other doctor.
Yeah, with under the kinship.
Yeah,
they changed an appointment on us. This is a different doctor, also not even a child abuse pediatrician. It was children's pediatrician from birth. Right. But anyways, they were pushing for vaccines, and then they changed the appointment on us, and we believe that would have been the second round. So, but the in-laws are responsible. Yeah. So. Okay. A lawsuit though, with them, no.
The hardest part would be having to prove that they hadn't vaccinated.
Well, we already talked about that. We can.
That they themselves did it.
Oh, you mean that time?
Yeah, because it could have been the pediatrician when they first got him.
MMR is given in 2 rounds, and that would have been the timing on that would have been.
Yeah.
Why would they change the doctor's appointment?
Yeah, they didn't. See, they didn't realize he was even going to show up the first time. If we'd not been there the first time, they probably would have given vaccines right there and then.
Mm-hmm. And when we walked into that appointment, they actually, that was your sister and the in-law's mother.
Yes.
So they act like they weren't even expecting to see us. So
they're acting weird.
Went back there, and then we went back into the appointment, and then they really wanted at the MMR. They were pointing. I mean, the doctor was pointing. This is a minion of that doctor, but the doctor was pointing to pictures on the wall of kids with measles.
Yeah,
I remember that. And we kept saying no. We even signed. We even signed one of those waivers.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I didn't write down. We didn't write down the next appointment, but we
knew when the next appointment was going to be.
Yeah, so came out and marked it.
And then they changed the appointment without telling us.
I'm gonna have the lawyers
I have a feeling I know when they did that.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it's pretty obvious. And and then we were told not to call up there because I had gotten into it a little bit with the receptionist, and then they said I'm not allowed to call her anymore because I basically called her a liar, receptionist. But she is. I mean, she was covering for them. She even hung up on me, which we're not supposed to do. And then I was told if I call up there again, Reggie and I will be banned from that doctor's office.
Oh wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the
For asking questions. That's ridiculous.
Trying to find out. Yeah, asking questions, trying to find out what they did to Nigel.
And
why would you bring him in there without telling us?
Right. And the second time they told us, not only, of course, we're more than willing to go to all their medical appointments, right? But we were ordered by the judge to go.
Oh, it was in the court order.
To their medical appointments. And then they would go to medical appointments without telling us.
Oh, wow.
And anything ever done to foster families? No. But they were sent to medical and dental appointments without telling us. And we were ordered. We wanted to be. We wanted to go. Because we want to make sure nothing nefarious happens.
As any good parent would,
But then they would, and it won't. We kept being told by CPS, well, it won't happen again. Well, guess what? It shouldn't have happened the first time.
Yeah.
It happened more than once. Each time. Well, it won't happen again.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to talk about, like to our viewers, anything you want to ask, just like for help, what can our viewers do to help?
The viewers, best thing they can do is give to our Gifts and Go, because all this money is going to be used towards helping Nigel get better, because we believe he can get better, possibly all the way better, but at least better than he is now. But it's not going to be done by using the therapy that is available to us here in our homestead. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Here.
I would start using sound healing.
Sound
healing.
Vibrations.
I would start. Yeah, just I would start trying all of anything that you can do, like that's natural. That's not going to cost you any money. Like it's not going to cost you any money to turn on some YouTube with some sound healing.
Actually, we've done this. We have done it.
Yeah. Had it help?
But like I said, very little.
Stephen, what'd you say? Technology? What technology?
I said Rife technology. Rife sound frequencies. It's called a Rife machine.
Yeah, right. There's some naturopaths that would use that, but like anything else, they want money. Actually, these naturopaths cost more than medical doctors.
I would just turn on like some sounds from like YouTube and just play those while you sleep.
We have done that. Like, so I said this.
That's what I would do. That.
Done this. A lot of people are real meeting, and they call in. We go on a podcast or something, and they have when we've done all this. There's very little that can be done for a child with autism we haven't already done or we don't know about.
Has anything helped?
Music, if it's something he likes, kind of helps his mood a little bit. If that's a temporary, it's a temporary help. It's just a temporary thing. He doesn't get better. It just might help his mood. No more. No less. Like I'm all for vibration and that kind of healing. But
we can all use that.
But I said this, it seems to me that about the most effective things right now are things that are going to cost money. There's just, you can't get around it.
Right.
Yeah, we would still use it. Okay,
because although this is a drug, Sherman, it's actually been referred to us by a naturopath.
Okay.
Because it's shown so much success in other children.
Okay, so it's got some promising trials with other cases.
Yes. And that same naturopath, like who cleanses, we talked about that.
What's it called again?
What?
The therapy. What's the therapy called again?
It's called Sermon. It's a
Sermon?
drug.
Oh, it's a drug. Okay.
It's a drug. It's been used for over 100 years in sleeping sickness. And in clinical trials recently, it's been shown to be very effective and many times with children with autism.
How do you spell the name of it? How do you spell it?
SURAMIN.
Suramin?
There's
gotcha.
There's even whole websites on that where they're talking about it and how it's helping for autism and all that. But like I said,
Gotcha.
I go
I
to
think I've come across in some of my research on other things too before, so it sounded familiar.
who works with autistic children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's never heard of it. This guy makes his living doing autistic children.
That's funny because this is used for parasites.
Yes.
I'm reading about it. Yeah. So parasites, cleanse. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
That's probably a little stronger.
And it's like I said, it's not like an adult dosage. They even let's call it like a children's dose. It's a small dosage, and kids have used that have not talked in years and will start talking. So it's been very promising trials.
Yeah, and it won't be a thing that you have to keep continuing,
right?
Because we don't have time for that anyway. He's 10, so it would be more quicker. So this is the quickest way. It's just so expensive. And no one here wants to touch it except for
Well, see, that's what's funny about it. It's not an expensive drug. The expense will be going down to Mexico and getting it done.
Yeah.
Because the drug itself is non-patented. There's no money in it. Like if they found out today that it was,
that's why they won't. That's why they won't do it here.
Hear about it because there's no money in it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
It's an unpatented drug. There's no money in non-patented drugs.
Okay, would it be easier to go to California?
The clinical, then you have to be accepted by clinical trials. Mexico, we want to go to a doctor, but in Mexico, you could get it done at a pharmacy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. See, that's how they're set up there. A pharmacist will do it for you in Mexico, but I'd rather be under a medical doctor care.
They say it's on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines.
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Why
won't they do it?
But it's just not allowed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not here.
You can acquire it from the Central for Disease and Control, is what it says.
You can't have it here unless it's a clinical trial, as far as I've been able to assess.
Well, I don't know. They might be able to give it to. I mean, if they can.
Like I said,
even then, to get someone to administer.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. Even if you could get it,
I'll lose my license.
And I've been heard.
Yeah, that's what they'll say. Yeah, that's what they'll say. Because that's what will happen. Because they're not. They get.
Who actually provides it to people where the African sleeping sickness is common. So where there's parasites, where these parasites are common, they actually offer it to the people for free.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they would, but that's not in America, right?
No, that's not in America.
No, that's probably, it doesn't say what locations, but it's just saying where the disease is common, this African sleeping sickness is what it's used for in river blindness.
Clinical trials, yes.
Okay. And that's for children or whoever with autism. Okay.
But like I said, the people that make their living here on treating children who never heard of this cutting edge therapy.
Yeah, I was on the phone with sometime last year, I was on the phone with a medical office here in town, and just regular medical office, and I went off on the receptionist a little bit because she's saying no one here wants to do it because it's not FDA approved, and I started going off on her a little bit. She's a messenger. It seemed like she was defending all of them. Mm-hmm. She even told me to call the FDA if I had a problem, but I'm not calling the FDA. No.
Well, considering what we've all went through in 2020, 2021.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew what they were. And someone told me to call I think they said call Pfizer or whoever produces the drug because they can send it to you.
No.
I think.
It can only be administered by, my understanding, because I did research on it.
Okay.
Unless I got it wrong. It can only be administered by a doctor, and no doctor in the United States is allowed to administer.
The HHS won't.
Unless it's a test.
If I talk to the HHS, they won't.
No.
You don't think they would? Okay.
But what's funny about that, when talking to the psychiatrist about it, I never heard it. Once again, they always say, about doing your own research. The psychiatrist gets on the internet and finds out about the sermon that he knew nothing about.
Him and a colleague of his.
Yeah.
They both. Yeah.
See, the doctors all use Google, but you use Google. Oh, are you a Google doctor? Well, the doctors all use Google.
Well, I mean, it's like that we all use Google though. Who say that they have to be the authority? Only that they can prescribe.
It's, once again, it happens all the time. You go to a doctor's office and then you find out you're the brightest guy in the room.
Yep.
But you're going to the doctor.
Yeah, and there's
they got all of us for diagnosing Nigel without credentials. But then after the trial, and that was part of the trial.
Yeah.
And it was even in the final judgment. But then after the trial, they diagnosed him with the same thing.
Yeah, we're right. the parents, once again, no, we know, we're not completely stupid. Sometimes, you see your child, you know what the symptoms are. Guess what he's got. But no, don't you dare self-diagnose.
But we didn't take him to ABA or the other therapy. But he was in that for a long time.
Yes.
And yet
he's gone to all that therapy for a long time, but we got in trouble for nuts. What? Okay.
Oh, she sent us a link. Cool. Let's bring it up here on the screen so we can our viewers can see it. I think that'd be a good one.
2023.
Can you see it?
Yeah, this is like the latest. I just found this link. I don't know because I'm just interested in what
earlier.
Can I?
The drug does.
There.
Sure.
It's loading up. Give it a second. There we go.
If you want to, I think I've already seen it.
Oh yeah, I remember that child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long is this? I wonder. That's a minute. An hour, 32 minutes.
Okay.
I don't think it's very long.
Oh, it's an hour and 32 minutes.
Yeah,
oh, is it 32 minutes? I didn't check. I just seen that it was a little thing about it.
Yeah, they got a little. They got a little article. We'll have it. We'll read through the article a little bit.
I mean, there's even a whole group trying to make it a what you call when they can use it something based. There's a word for it. Something they want it something based before they can use it.
I remember.
Sermons for autism update.
Well, that's not something based. That's not something based.
I can't. I might know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it's called.
Anyway, we had a lot of trouble with that. Well, that's not something based.
Okay.
All right.
Evidence-based.
Yeah, that's not evidence-based.
Evidence-based. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, now there's a whole group that's trying to get sermon evidence-based.
Oh, yeah. Well, so it is evidence-based.
Yeah. But like I said, it's going to be hard to do because there's no money in it.
Right.
There's no money in it.
But they have him in what they make money on for all that time, and he is still.
Yeah. What they got onto us for not doing the whole time he was in their custody, he was doing it. And since he's been out of the custody, we still done speak.
Yeah, and actually they didn't get him in that right away because I remember emailing my lawyer in the beginning, and they hadn't even gotten him anything yet. Yeah.
But we're in trouble. We're in trouble for not doing it. They take their married time just like they took their married time diagnosing him. We're in trouble for not diagnosing him, but they
we're getting him into anything.
Yeah, but them with all the resources of the state could not diagnose him in over a year.
Yeah,
so after the trial,
they used COVID as an excuse, but they still did that something. Yeah,
right. They dropped the ball big time.
Well, you had an excuse. They take the child from you. The state has an excuse. Well, that's an excuse. Right.
I know it's such a double standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I used to make fun. There's a lot of truth to it. Here's the book for parents to do for their children. Here's the book for the foster parents. Here's the world's foster parents. Here's the book for parents. Much different. What are you doing?
That's about the truth.
Oh, there we go. That's a good short one too. Perfect. That'll be perfect. We'll play this. All right, here we go.
I don't think you can really understand what it feels like as a parent when you get to that point where you're desperate that you're willing to, pick a drug randomly and you think about the good, the bad, and it's worth a try.
The main point of the study was to test a new idea about a unifying theory for the cause and treatment of autism that we call the cell danger hypothesis, and the role of abnormal purinergic signaling in maintaining a cellular defense state that alters neurodevelopment. Cell danger response is a universal cellular response to stress or injury that utilizes about up to 30 different biochemical pathways. The first thing to know about the cell danger response is that cells do what nations do when they go to war, is they harden their borders and don't trust their neighbors. Paper was designed to really focus on the safety and tolerability of Suramin in a small group of children, 10 boys, ages 5 to 14, all with autism spectrum disorder.
You were there.
We used standard outcome measures that included the Autism Diagnostic Observation Schedule, ADOS, as well as the Autism Treatment Evaluation Checklist, the ATEC, the Aberrant Behavior Checklist, ABC, and the Clinical Global Impression Scale, CGI. And each of those showed improvements in the children who had received Suramin in the core behaviors of language, social interaction, and repetitive or restricted behaviors, and none of the children who had received placebo did.
But we noticed he was a little calmer. He was a little focused, as though he's looking at you. He's noticing you're there, and what's coming out of your mouth. Primarily, his biggest issue is language. But he was looking at you when you were talking to him. Though his language did not get better, but I can notice that I could actually say something to him and I know he's looking at me. The director of the program, he go to a private school, made a comment to me and said, you know what? He is in the moment. Before she'll see him all over the hallways and he's like, he's there, but he's not there. He said he's in the moment.
So Charles can always say, I want this, I want that, but he doesn't comment about anything that's happening in his life. Even when he gets hurt, it's really rare for him to say, I'm hurting. But that later that evening when we were having dinner, he actually said, I'm done with dinner, and which was great, because normally he'd say, I did it, in this very high-pitched voice. And he was like, I ate my dinner. And we were like, wow, dinner, like, that's awesome, you know? And you have to be a parent to understand what important word dinner is, you know? It just emphasizes that there is an understanding there that can't get out.
When cellular resources are no longer exchanged between cells stop talking, and when cells stop talking, it influences development, and you can say when cells stop talking, the children stop talking. Next step will be to ask to extend the results in a larger clinical trial to ask the question, do a few doses of Suramin over a few months definitively improve the core symptoms of autism? So do they improve language, social interaction, and repetitive or restricted behaviors?
It shows, I think, this drug, it shows that all of these kids are capable of doing such great things, and they're sort of locked into their body, and this is a drug that can unlock that.
This is something that at least we can try more and see what's there, because it did make some difference to my child. And I want to see what else can I do for him before it's too late for him.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I would say that's your evidence.
Yeah, that's interesting.
How much more blatant can it get? Right there.
That's pretty good. Like, I think that shows promise. Definitely.
It shows promise. It's a start, even if it's not a complete cure. At least it'll get him going.
Can you guys get on a study like that? Have you guys tried to find any studies?
It's in California. The only study I know of is in California.
Okay.
It's easier for us to go to Mexico than go to California.
Yeah, because promise, or I mean, to get what you need. Yeah.
But see, that's like I said.
A lot of people get their meds from Mexico.
If we can afford it, we'll give him stem cell therapy. But for now, any little thing could help him, because there's other therapies we could use. But right now, he can't even keep his arms in his lap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to use biofeedback, which has been also the naturopath suggested that to us. Mm-hmm. But right now, he can't even do that. So, give us an inch, we'll take that inch.
Yeah,
right now, we're getting the inch.
Yeah, and once he gets he gets to where he can talk,
Yeah.
then
It'll be
even
easier to do
then,
therapy and everything else.
even then, you want his mentality
Right.
to thrive, right?
Right.
So he knows how to talk. It's just the receptors, since he's gotten this shot, are not connecting correctly where he's unable to. So it's like speech aphasia. You know what you want to say, you just can't say it. Even though you try to say you know what you want to say, it doesn't come out right, right? Except for this is like triggering where he can't actually do the talking, but he knows how to talk, right?
Yes. The way I understand it is like autism is a gut-brain connection.
Right. Everything. Yeah.
There's something in the gut that's causing inflammation, and that inflames the brain, and it cuts down the oxygen to the brain, and that's why he can't think clearly.
Yeah, the cognitive abilities are low.
Yes.
Yeah, we want them to go back up.
Because of a loss of oxygen?
Yeah, that's the way my understanding of how autism actually works, because he's not getting enough oxygen to the brain. Something in the gut is causing inflammation.
And the brain can swell.
And it actually swells the brain. And that
I would go back to those probiotics and stuff, because like they say, all the disease start in the gut.
We tried probiotics, but once again, he has GERD as well. So it's hard for him sometimes to keep down a probiotic.
That's probably another parasite. I think everything's parasites myself personally.
When we had it the first time, was giving him a lot of probiotics.
Yeah.
And didn't do much help, but did some.
Yeah, I think he needed more back then, but even then our funding was limited.
Yes.
Right.
And then we were just
probiotics are expensive.
And then they came again.
Yeah. So we basically cut off from what we were doing.
Yeah, we're back at square one.
Yeah, I would try detoxing them for parasites. I would start there and see if something happened, because you can do it relatively cheap.
And we had stuff that we were doing with that.
Yeah. You just get them papaya seeds, and that would detox them.
Yeah, well, someone told us ivermectin would be good, but even that you would need.
That would be excellent too.
You would need to do that like every day.
So it's like it's inflation on the brain, like he's swollen.
Yeah.
What about borax? That takes swelling out. No,
it's good.
But we've also used like a more natural thing. We've used.
I'm just wondering.
Turmeric.
Yes,
because turmeric helps with inflammation and also helps with the gut. So we've used that on him, but once again. His eating habits. I mean, you put a little powder, a little of that on it, and sometimes it's fine with eat it. Other times he sees the powder on it, he's not going to touch it.
Celtic sea salt.
So you just waste it.
Yeah, this is not the average kid that we're doing.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you would give him Celtic sea salt, lime, olive oil, what'd you say? Coconut oil.
Refined.
We have used all that.
And cayenne pepper, that would clear the gut out. So if it's something in the gut, I would work on clearing the gut out. So it's lime, like lemon juice, like lime juice.
But he also has problems holding down food too.
Yes, he does. Sometimes he wants
to GERD.
You're irritated holding it down. Yeah.
And we were using different teas there for a while.
What is it that he can't hold down? Is there certain things that he can't hold down versus others?
And sometimes he'll hold it down fine, and then the next day, no.
Yeah, you want something more consistent.
Yeah.
So the problem gets derailed.
Or he drink the tea one day, next day he'll forget it, I'm not drinking this.
Yeah, like I said, it's not your average kid, and it's the gut.
That is something you still can't. But I know if you use those things, Celtic salt, cayenne pepper, lime, and coconut oil, that cleanses the gut out.
Yeah, you can hold it down.
Saying it's a gut thing, that will cleanse the gut out. I know that.
Regularly.
Oh, like on our food.
What is it, like a shot a day? You like a little drink?
No, you got to do it about 10 times a day.
10 times. My boyfriend says about 10 times a day. It's like like a little shot, a little drink of it. But that will clean the gut out. If you just want to know how to clean the gut out, that's one way.
Yeah, it'd be fine if you held it down.
If you can.
I mean, I'm not saying that it would work. I'm just suggesting that that's one way that I know of to clean your gut out, because they do say all diseases and everything start in the gut. So if you don't have good gut health, that's you can trace basically everything.
And we've already damaged his gut by doing what they did.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like more than once. Yeah, and plus it was a long time ago, so it's built up. Then they interfered with the process. Yeah, everything's built up, the accumulation. So now we're at a crucial stage. So that leaves us with not many choices, but we don't have a lot of money.
Well, at least there is a choice. So, do you guys have a way to Mexico? Do you know like a doctor down there where you can get this from? Or
no, but we can
we wouldn't book anything until
we book until we had the ability to go down
we
there.
don't personally,
right?
That's why we have the Gets and Go to raise money, so we can go down there and get it done.
And you want our way back, yeah.
So wait,
I
you just go to like any doctor?
I meant the money. The money is what I mean, back and forth.
Of course.
Do you have to go to like a doctor to get it, or can you just go to the pharmacy down there and get it? Because I know like their pharmacies are different. You can just pretty much get medicine.
Doctor would be better.
Yeah,
they said you could get it from the pharmacy.
Get in there, we could have a pharmacy just do it, but I'd rather have a doctor on because if there's anything this
would go wrong, yeah.
You'd have
So
a doctor.
then you're not even okay with someone administering it that at least knows what they're doing. I mean, even if they didn't have
a pharmacist can do it.
And not just a pharmacist. I mean, anyone.
Who's anyone besides a pharmacist that would administer?
Anyone you trust that know how to do it. I mean, how to administer.
If you go to a pharmacy in Mexico, you do it yourself if you want to.
Well, I mean, someone that isn't us or a pharmacist. I mean, just anyone that we know and trust.
Okay, who's you going to bring down there? No, I'm going to the doctor.
So you're a doctor all the way.
Yeah.
In this case.
Right.
My back is cracking. I think I'm old now.
No, you're just having a knuckle crack. That's probably all that is, kiddo.
If two vegans start fighting, is it considered beef?
Yeah, that's just a start. Like I said, if we really had the financial means, I would definitely look into stem cell therapy.
Yeah,
because that is actually worked very successfully, and they're improving it all the time. Now, when they do stem cell therapy, they also do something to the what's the blood, but the plasma.
Taking it out. Yeah,
they take out the plasma now and purify it.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay, and then stem cell works far better now when the plasma.
So would you start with the stem cell? Would you be willing to start with stem cell, or would you rather go?
I'd rather try that first. Okay. It's cheaper, it's better, it's quicker.
And the stem cell may or may not come after, depending on
how well he
progress.
into the.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I want to make sure I was on the same.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
But like I said, we have to get somewhere because, like I said, people always give us all these little homework. We've done a lot of this.
Yeah.
Already done it.
Yeah, it's not your average situation. No. Otherwise, it would work.
Because besides autism, he has the GERD. We're having to work with the GERD, having to work with the autism.
Yeah, and the accumulation over time. I mean, it's their fault. They came again.
But it's something new every day. Our lives circulate around an average child. That's just it.
Yeah, and we didn't already have enough. Have a lot of money to begin with. That's why they targeted us. And I mean, one of the reasons. Yeah, and we were trying to thrive even before they came the first time. They got in the way of that. Mm-hmm. We're not planning to be poor. We never planned that ever.
I don't think anybody's ever planned to be poor. You know, it just kind of happens.
Some people are okay with it,
but also not. just
generally speaking. So I mean,
financially. Because lawyers and this, that, and other thing.
Yeah, blood financial. Yes, lawyers. All the things we had to do our lawyers' work for that. That cost money, transportation, everything. Yeah, and there was a little of that the first time too.
Yeah.
When you add it all up, that's a lot of money lost altogether.
So, do you want to any final words that you want to express to our viewers before we wrap up the segment?
Alkaline his body, and then he can't have the GER. Because if he's got an alkaline body, he won't have it.
Even then, see, I've worked on alkalize his body. I've used baking soda, but then he won't take it. Sometimes he won't take it. And I've tried different things. We'll make it palatable. Sometimes no. I'm all for alkalizing the body. I think baking soda is wonderful if used properly. But like I said, well, go ahead. He won't even take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, baking soda tastes pretty nasty too.
Yeah,
I use it for my heartburn a lot of the time.
I've used it, with they use it for.
And give him borax. Just put a little bit of borax in his water. That'll alkaline his body. He won't even taste it.
What? I don't even know if you can do that.
I drink borax all the time. My dog is still alive because of borax. Let me tell you that much. Sammy's like a little pup when I give him borax.
I haven't searched that yet, so I couldn't say.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one.
Borax is good for you.
Not boric acid.
Not boric acid, but
borax.
Boron. They call it laundry soap, but it's not laundry soap.
Right. Like some people like have cancer have used what I've the baking soda and the maple syrup. Mm-hmm. I've used that with him to help him.
First he was okay with it.
Alkalize his body. First he's okay to take it. It's just
Yeah,
My dog's like a little puppy when I put him on the borax, man. You can tell because he's old. He's like going on 15 and he's like, a big dog, which only lasts like 8 or 9 years. So he's like super old. And my puppy dog.
What about
in human years? Yeah, like he's 15 in human years. He's like old, right? He's like 100 years old, but he's like a big dog, like 100 and something pound dog. Oh, he was like 100-pound something dog. They don't live long, right? And he's been on his way out, and I've been giving him borax. And when I give him borax, he runs around almost like a pup because when he's not on it, he can hardly get up off the ground.
But if a human takes it, it's fine.
Oh, I drink it. We bathe in it. I wash in it. I use it like
I drink it 5 days a week.
My boyfriend drinks it 5 days a week. We take borax. Yeah,
Borax,
we take
yeah.
borax. It's good for you.
Before anybody calls CPS on me, I'm going to research borax before I use it. All right.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one either.
No, you don't have to take my word for it. Just do some research on it. It's really good for you, and it's something that would have very little taste, and it might help. I mean, and it's cheap. It's cheap for a box of borax.
Well, how many days do you use it? I mean, how long does it take?
So you use it what? How you use it for a few? How many days on? 5
days on, 2 days off.
2 days off, and then 5 days on, 2 days off.
How many weeks before?
For however we use it all the time. We do. So
and
we take
that
break. So that's what we do with our dog. My dog, with those 2 days when he's off that borax, he barely can get off the floor.
What amount do you use each day?
Huh? How much?
Yes.
For a kid.
He's not sure for a kid, but for himself,
I use 1/4 of a teaspoon.
He uses 1/4 of a teaspoon
per liter
of water.
of water.
On it throughout the day.
And he sips on it throughout. He drinks it as water throughout the day.
Oh.
So for a child, maybe less than that, or
child would
probably would be less. I would do some research on it because we've only researched it for ourselves. So
for a kid,
probably what?
An eighth.
An eighth. He's saying probably an eighth a liter.
We're not giving medical advice to you too.
Guys, don't get people before you pick up that phone call. CPS and then say
No, do your research on it.
We're just having an open discussion.
I was just letting you know that we
I had no idea about that. I always thought that if you ingested borax, this couldn't be good for you, but I don't know. I never heard of that, but maybe you know something I don't, Angie.
Okay.
But like I say, anybody's watching out there, if you can help, please help.
Yeah, because
any finances, it's not going.
No matter what.
Not going to buy us a meal. It's going for our medical help for our child. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I mean that's the first thing we would look at, and if not, and even if we did what Angela is talking about, and even if that was a quicker fix.
Well, I'm just saying, why you're trying to make the money to go down to Mexico to start this treatment, because I'm all game for you guys trying that too, because it seemed to work from that clinic research, and anything to help them would be great, right? But I'm just saying that these little things are, like in the meantime, the borax is cheap. It might help them.
Yeah, we were looking for something that's
it might at least get rid of the acid reflux. That might be helpful.
It's almost as good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, what'd you say about acid reflux? What was it about acid reflux?
Borax should help get rid of the acid reflux, the GERD. It got rid of my boyfriend's. Like he had heartburn. He would get that stuff so bad every day, like really, really bad, and he don't get it anymore. So it might help with the heartburn he gets.
Well, before they messed it up,
what? The kettle?
With vinegar. Natural vinegar before they messed it up.
Yeah.
Oh, brag.
Yeah. I didn't answer. I was trying to avoid the name. I don't want to get sued.
Sorry. Oh, it's not brag. It's not brag.
The vinegar.
Before they messed it up, that was good for acid reflux. But once again,
but Katy Perry bought that stuff. It's not even what it was because Katy Perry bought that company.
Yeah,
so it's not. So the product's not the same.
To make it, you look at it, it's not the same thing.
It's not since she bought it. They're using those fake apples and stuff, now.
Yeah, and the old lady, Patricia.
It used to be an excellent product until Katy Perry bought it.
Okay.
I brought up Patricia. Okay.
Yeah.
The old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was very healthy, and then she was gone.
Yeah.
After the.
Yeah, because they sold it to Bill Gates and them.
That happens a lot of times. You have a good company and then they bought out and they change everything.
And they mess it all up.
Yeah.
That's because they can't make money off of it. It's they got us in this debt slave system that's terrible.
Uh-huh.
All right. Any final words, and then before we wrap up the segment, you guys.
Once again, how can they contact you besides the Get Send Go?
Me
Yeah.
on
What are you on? What social media are you on?
okay, I'm on. Well, I'm still on Facebook, but I don't get on much anymore. I'm on TikTok. I'm on. I just got on Instagram today. I'm on Twitter, X, whatever, and MeWe. I'm still on that.
Now, if somebody's having trouble with CPS, she's better for that. She can help set you up with what's those people that help you?
These
Advocates.
days?
Advocates, thank you. Advocates, yeah.
Yeah.
She can help set you up with advocates better than I can. But like I say, we need help with the Get Send Go. If somebody's having trouble with CPS, they should try to contact her because she works as an advocate herself and can help you set up with other advocates. She's been through it and she knows better how to deal with it than a lot of people.
Can I? Is that okay if I give out your email, Tamsen, or do you want to
Email.
or do you want to just do your social media?
Yeah, I'm TikTok would be better right now.
Okay. Okay.
JP Tammy.
That's just JP.
Yeah, the Tammy. It's all one word. JP TAMMY.
Okay, and that's on Instagram, right?
One word, we all know.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, it's one word. Okay, what'd you say, Steven?
I said that's on your Instagram, right? That's your Instagram handle.
It's not Instagram. That's TikTok.
TikTok. Okay, gotcha.
I just got on today, and that's
JP Tammy on TikTok, folks.
Yeah, Instagram. I just got on today. That's what was the username? Tamsen what? See?
No, Tamsen Tiffany Gold.
Oh yeah, you mean that's the username?
Yeah, that's
the username's Tamsen Tiffany Bowles. That's on Instagram.
Okay, gotcha. Well, he's smart if he remembered that.
On people get a hold of me on X and Facebook, but it's better for you're having trouble with CPS, get a hold of her.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, did you say someone might have a problem remembering that? About Tamsen Tiffany?
No, I said he's smart. He remembered that.
Yeah,
your Instagram handle.
Yeah, he helped do some of that stuff, so he helped me with that today. He came up with that actually. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, close the door, smart guy.
Oh man, that's great. All right, you guys, thank you for joining us, and I'm glad we got.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Steven. Are you going to send this to me?
Don't interfere.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
How long afterward?
Right after. I just got to get it copied to my phone so I can send it to you via text message.
Oh, okay, it'll be that fast.
Yeah, well, the link. I have the link to the live. I mean, you can start sharing it out immediately. I mean, it's usually
so it's pretty fast. Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be Rumble. It'll be all of them, right? All the.
Yeah, I'll send you all the links so you can share them out.
Okay, you'll send it to me like however.
Yep. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, all the ones that we're on.
You know how to send it to me, so that's good. Okay, and Angela, I'd like to start talking to you again. I had a new phone recently, in recent times, so
I'm still on Instagram or Telegram.
Yeah, I got rid of my Telegram. There was too much on it.
What about what's the other one? Shoot, I can't think of it. What's the other one? The other message thing that we were on.
Signal?
On what?
Signal, right?
Oh yeah, Signal. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you would need my regular number. I'd like for you to have it. So
okay.
Yeah, I'll have you on there.
I can forward it to her for you.
Get it from Steven.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
That'll work.
Okay, sounds great. Call me tonight, please, or text me tonight, please.
I will. I'll text you as soon as I get the links out, and that'll be within the next 20 minutes.
And Angela needs to also. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Please consider making a donation.
Okay. Yeah.
Say it.
Nobody knows what MeWe is, by the way. You can check it out by searching it up.
Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all.